that shits me to tears. I was just thinking that those decisions that drift back to you, they're bad, right? They're a pain in the ass when you want to get rid of them. But I reckon the worst ones are those decisions where you sort of go, I thought we'd fix that. Or no, well, did you fix it? Well, no, it's not my Well, whose responsibility is it? I don't know. I thought it was Nick's. Well, it's not Nick's. You go talk to Nick. Nick goes, no, that's not mine.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. I thought Brett was doing it. Well, go talk to Brett. Go, Brett, did you? No, it was not. Like that shits me to tears. Welcome to the latest edition of the Mastermind for Business podcast. This is the podcast for couples in business, whether you are siblings, whether you're partners, or whether you're just good mates. Every week, we're going to help you to build a business that's a lot less reliant on you. And as always, joining me in the chair, Caroline.
Morning, Mark. Yeah,
Did you have to think of my name?
No, I was actually thinking, it's not morning, it's afternoon, actually.
I was more worried that you had to think of what my name was.
No.
No. Okay, all right, let's get into it.
So, Mark, normally you ask me what my week was like. What was your week like last week?
We talked about this just before we pressed record. In fact, I had a really interesting conversation with a client yesterday, which is really something I want to talk about today, if that's okay. Because in their business, they had this real issue where decisions weren't getting made, and they said to me, "Oh, I think we've got a real problem with decision making." And so things are just getting dragged out all the time. And either they're not happening at all or they're just taking too long. And my answer back to them was, you don't have a decision-making issue, you have a decision ownership issue. And we're going to see that a fair bit, don't we?
It's common. It's more common than you think.
Yep.
Probably happens in your business.
Well, because I think what often happens is you get this kind of, I guess what might call like decision drift, So, you're listening to this now and you're going, yeah, okay, so I'm okay. I delegate the decisions in my business. Things go away from me. But what tends to happen is they tend to drift back, don't they?
Yeah, I think, well, you've got to be clear. Everyone loves to delegate. Well, no, that's not true. Not everybody likes to delegate because some people have slight ownership issues. But when you do delegate, there's a massive importance on clarity of that delegation. So you're delegating the task. You're not just delegating the task, you're delegating the outcome of that task. So, yes.
So, you know how much I love to read, and we just took a week away and I read. So here's my little book calculator, 11 books so far this year. But one of the things I do love to read is the Harvard Business Review. And in fact, Harvard Business Review in August this year, the month we're recording this in, actually did an article on decision drift that they call decision drift. And it really resonated for me when I read it, Caroline, because it was really about we delegate decisions and then why do they drift back to us? And it's really not because people don't know what to do, but it's a question of whether they have the authority to do it.
Yeah. Yep. There's got to be ownership with that. And with ownership, you've got to know which questions to ask or who to ask for questions if questions need to be asked, and who's going to review those sorts of the outcomes for that, because it has to be a review. Yeah.
I think the thing is that how you stop this decision drift is you've got to be really clear. I mean, we always talk about what are the rules of delegation, right? Are the expectations crystal clear? Do they have all the skills, tools, and resources to be able to do what they need to do? And is there a reporting process which is time bound? So we get those kind of things. We're pretty right. And of course, the delegation is about delegating responsibility. But if we're talking about decision drift and how to stop decision drift, I think the important thing is to make it clear that the person has the ownership of the decision, which is why I kind of, after reading that article, I realized that the guys I was talking to yesterday, they didn't have a decision-making problem. They had a decision ownership problem. No one was making a decision. There was like this big round robin. And we've seen it in our business as well, where I've sort of gone, what's happening with that? Or no one's, I'm waiting for Caroline, or Caroline's waiting for Brett, and Brett's waiting for Greg. And
yeah,
do you know?
There's no sort of campfire discussions about who's doing what, who owns what.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too. It's really important, I think, if you have campfire discussions or meetings or retreats or whatever, to walk away from those, to stop the decision drift there, to walk away from those with a really clear picture about who owns what and within what time frame.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the thing is that for both of us and for for the people we work with. And I'm sure as you're listening to this, this would resonate with you, is that you'd rather have somebody make a decision. Do you know what I mean? Like I say, like, just make a goddamn decision. I don't care if it's the wrong one.
Just make one.
Just make one. Make a decision.
Yeah.
And take ownership of it. But what do you think stops people from taking ownership?
Well, there's a few elements to this one. I think that you've got clarity on the outcome. Sometimes people don't know.
Yep. So that gets back to the kind of expectation stuff.
Yep. You've got authority that you just mentioned.
Yep.
There's a bit of fear for some people. I mean, if you're a poor manager, you've delegated something, and you've got people who have a fear of asking questions or getting the right answers for you.
Yep.
That's going to be a massive roadblock.
Yeah. Scott Chisholm talks about being a CEO. Scott Chisholm talks about being a CEO, being a leader. And one of the things that he says in his material is that to be a leader, if nobody wants to work for a dictator, right? And it's interesting because I just read the book Relentless, and in it says you as a leader, you've got to be able to say, like, this is how it's done. It's done my way because I'm the best at what I do and I know what I'm doing and all those sorts of things. But there's that fine line between that and being a dictator and not listening to people.
Yeah.
So you've got to set the expectations in a way. And then I think the other thing with ownership is people have got to feel comfortable to know that they can take ownership.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think people will take ownership if there's clarity and communication about the responsibility and the outcome.
Yep.
You can't expect to have somebody give you the right outcome if you haven't set the right expectations and given them that permission. So you've got to set them up to win as opposed to the other way around. So
this is all good in theory, right? But I'm just thinking, if you're listening to this now, here's a little challenge for you. Set yourself a drift audit. And what I mean by that is have a look at your business right now and work out what are the decisions that are regularly not being made. They're either you've sent them out and they're drifting back to you, or I reckon the worst ones beyond that are those that just drift around in space.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And you wander around the office. I mean, we've got a physical office.
But you need to ask why are they drifting? Look at why they're drifting. I mean,
because no one's taken ownership of it.
No, but if the people, possibly it's that they're drifting because there's a fear, like I mentioned before, but there's just that, shivers if I get this wrong, or someone else is going to do with it because that's out of my comfort zone, and that means I'm a bit worried about getting that right or wrong, or such and such to do that better, or it's not my wheelhouse.
But that's what we're saying, isn't it? That really comes down to ownership. Like, if you've got clear, and this really gets back to you've got a decision ownership, not a decision-making problem. Because if you're clear on who owns it, then all of those things that you said shouldn't exist. Like, it's your decision to make, Caroline. Like, just make the fucking decision. Do you know what I mean? It's yours to make, right? But I can only say that to you if I've done the work that you can then sit there and go, okay, I know if I make a decision, I'm going to get backed. I'm going to get supported.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to get coached if it's the wrong one. I'm going to be given certain leeway. I'm not going to be, kicked around because I might have made the wrong one or not considered things. And also that I've got a way of going and getting all of the resources or tools or whatever that I need in order to be able to make that decision.
Yeah.
So you've got to put all of those elements
together. I mean, it's the core, it's a basic principles of delegation, but you've got to really sharpen it a little bit more.
And so, because I think I was just thinking that those decisions that drift back to you, they're bad, right? They're a pain in the ass when you want to get rid of them. But I reckon the worst ones are those decisions where you sort of go, I thought we'd fix that. Or no, well, did you fix it? Well, no, it's not my. Well, whose responsibility is it? I don't know. I thought it was Nick's. Well, it's not Nick's. You go to talk to Nick. Nick goes, no, that's not mine.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. I thought Brett was doing it. Well, go talk to Brett. Go, Brett, did you? No, it was not. Like that shits me to tears.
Frustrate. Well, we actually had a situation like that yesterday.
Okay.
Where it was a webinar was done. There were lists of contact. Yeah. A bunch of opportunities to get in front of people and to talk to people and help people. Yeah. And when I was talking about, I'm like, did you contact people on the list that actually listened to what we were talking about?
What list?
Oh,
where's the list?
Oh, I know it. They didn't send me the list. Oh.
Who's they?
Yeah, they.
Hey. Do you know when I was
Special people that you don't see.
when I was a kid, which, like, let's be honest, was a very long time ago, but my old man used to say, "Oh, Mr. Nobody lives here."
Mm.
Because who did this?
Nobody. Wasn't me.
I had 3 brothers, so the 4 boys nobody would own up to it. And the old man always used to go, Mr. Nobody, Mr. Nobody again, Mr. Nobody lives here. I forgot Mr. Nobody lives here. But in some ways, it's the same thing, right? Whereas if you've got, so if you're looking, so here's the challenge. I think there's 2 challenges. If you're listening to this now and you're going, yeah, I've got those problems because decisions drift either back to me or just around the whole business. Find 3 or 4 of those decisions that are constantly drifting and apply these principles. Assign an owner.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure the owner has the comfort and the ability and the certainty to be able to make that decision, and set a time frame to them.
Yeah. I think you need to add in there too, what is the perfect outcome? What does the perfect outcome look like?
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's bingo, because we can make a decision to cross the road. Now, the perfect outcome is we make it safely and not run in front of a truck.
Well, that you use the crossing.
Well, that's right. But you see, the concept is that if the outcome is just to cross the road or get onto the road at any cost, then you're going to make potentially a silly decision.
Yeah.
Whereas so the decision has to be not just to cross the road, but to cross the road safely and get safely to the other side and still be alive on the other side of the road. I mean, I know that's a bit of a silly analogy, but
No, not really. No, that makes sense.
It kind of applies, I think.
We'll pick that up.
Yeah. Cool. That's a nice little challenge. If you're listening to this right now, I'd love you to take that challenge. Have a think about over the last, say, 1 to 2 weeks, or maybe even the last 30 days. There will have been decisions in your business that have drifted in one of 2 ways. Either they've drifted back to you when you had sent them out, or they're still drifting around like in the ether when nobody's making the decision. That, my friends, is decision drift, and you have to pull that up and replace decision making with decision ownership.
Yeah.
And give the owner the power to make those decisions.
And also put in there when you've done that, you want to review it and make the change.
Yep.
Make sure you're clear to your team on the purpose for that.
Yeah. Yep.
There needs to be a reasoning behind it, because if everyone is drifting around the outcome, not doing things, or they're thinking somebody else is going to be doing it, if nobody knows the purpose, then not one person will pick that up.
No, and the other thing I think that's quite frustrating is that often those decision drift decisions, they're not huge, but they have like this ability to have a huge impact because they're not being made.
Compounding.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, the compound. Yeah, that's it. That's what happens. They compound. I like it. Hey, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good stuff that we both learned. If you are watching this podcast on YouTube, I'd love you to like and subscribe. And please drop a comment below if there's something that you would like to hear Caroline and I talk about in your family business. If you're running a business as a couple, whether you're running it as partners, as siblings, or just good mates, we know that there is a very specific factors that impact businesses that are being run by couples. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast supplier, then please do the same thing. Like and subscribe. We'd love to hear more from you. Until we chat in the next episode of the Mastermind for Business podcast for couples in business, please make sure you spend time with those who matter most.